Macro tank for takeoff.
Juliet, approach crosswind.
Nobody coming. We are recording. It is Wednesday, June 19th, 2002. Jim and Opie and tail number 4770 Fox. We're on an EMT1 Plus. Ready?
Ready.
There we go. Great demonstration of P-factor. Right rudder is in. Up onto the mains, blend out a little bit. Stabilize, got to blend back in, and we are flying. Holding 80 knots in the climb. Welcome to the extra.
Oh yeah.
How do you like this?
I like it.
Rotating the prop back. Boost pump off, going to wings.
Combat, sorry, disregard.
Say again for Combat 3.
Combat 3, disregard. Traffic opposite direction, parallel runway 30, centers a single engine commander. He's about a 2-mile final now. Do you have him in sight?
Negative, sir. We're passing pattern altitude on the way up, though.
Gotcha. Cessna 77, Juliet, runway 30 right, clear touch. Correction, runway 12 right for Cessna 77, Juliet.
12 right, clear touch and go, 77 Juliet.
I guess we can look for him.
Combat 3, present position sign, left turn eastbound. There is citation traffic ahead of you. Talking to Phoenix, it indicates 4,000, left turn eastbound, screw.
Combat 3, left turn eastbound.
Commander 3-8, Juliet, intentions?
Tower calling 77 Juliet.
Negative. Commander 3-8, Whiskey, say your intentions.
All right, Jim, if you would, I'm going to let you come on the controls.
Okay, I have the controls.
And you have the airplane. We'll go 105 knots, climbing to 65. I'll keep my eyes open for that citation.
Okay, you got the power setting for me?
Commander 3-8, Whiskey, Roger. Continue straight out northwestbound. Make your request with Phoenix Approach. They have at least 2 holding out there now at
105.
Contact Phoenix Approach 124.9.
And
continue straight out northwestbound. Be fine. Runway
Let's go to 65.
6,500.
Check 77 Juliet. No disregard. You got Commander traffic. It's departed 30 center, opposite direction, northwestbound. He's no factor.
My airspeed's fluctuating quite a bit. What are you showing?
We're right at about 105. That thing's bouncing around, huh?
Yeah. Probably just sticky. This heading good?
Yeah, this setting's real good.
Okay, wait 56 Delta on the go. Got the 56 Delta left closed.
You can banker back and forth, you know, S-turn a little bit if you want to while we're in the climb here.
Get a feel for it here, look for traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely responsive.
Oh, yeah.
Barely even moving the yoke.
Yep.
It's like the F-16 simulators I've flown.
Oh, this thing, roll-wise and elevator-wise, are as responsive as an F-16. It blew me away the first time I flew this thing. Tower Combat 3 is clear. We'll contact you on return.
Traffic, no factor.
Okay.
What's our VSI right now?
About 500 foot a minute.
Not bad.
That's at 105. If you pull it up to 80, it'll go a little better than that.
Oh, I saw it.
And we can come check about a 45-degree right here. If you look, you've got the canal.
Okay.
And it kind of bends down to the right and then comes back left and then back to the right again.
Okay.
Second right-hand crook, right up on the edge, you'll see Rittenhouse. Right between the houses on the right and the old runways down there. Probably you can't see it because of the wing. You can come a little bit further to the right there.
Yeah, I'm not right over about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, now actually it's about right 3. You'll see the houses down there. green.
Okay, right off the right wing here?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yep.
I was looking on the wrong side of the canal. So you want to stay around Rittenhouse, or?
Yeah, we'll work our way down to the south here a little bit,
okay.
and you can keep her climbing up. But why don't you fly around a little bit, kind of get a feel for it. You can bank it around, and we're in the area right now.
Okay, do some clearing turns here. Very nice.
And that
very smooth. 5,500?
Yep, let's go up another 1,000. It'll be a little cooler for us.
Yep. Yeah, I'm moving that stick about a 1/4 inch.
Yep, that's all you need. I usually fly it with 2 or 3 fingers on the stick. That's really all you need.
Hardly takes any pressure at all.
Yep. All right, what we're going to start off with, I'm going to come on the controls, Jim.
Okay, your controls.
And I want you to fly with me. This thing has very little adverse yaw because of the symmetric wing and no dihedral. And we're going to do some Dutch rolls.
Okay.
All right, so you already know left stick, left aileron, left rudder, right aileron, right rudder. I'm going to stay within about 15 degrees of bank, plus or minus. And what most people normally do is they look out the front and try and imagine a point on the horizon. So right, left, left. And notice as you're riding the controls with me, it's very little rudder.
Yes.
But in order to get folks looking out the airplane, look down the left wing now. Notice that the wing is tracing a straight line up and down. If I were out of sync with this, it would start to fishtail just like that. Okay? That is a great way for people to tell, and I think it's better than looking over the nose of the airplane. So why don't you come on the controls? The other piece...
I have the controls.
All right. The other piece of that is to maintain altitude. So they're actually doing all 3 axes at the same time.
You want me to maintain altitude?
Yep. Maintain the altitude while you're doing that. And it'll be a little bit nose high because we're a little bit slower. But yeah, you're doing great. Most people have a little bit of a problem with that the first time. We also have them look over the back of the wing at a point on the ground because it really gets...
trace it up and down?
Yep, it should be a straight line up and down, and I can feel the rudder movement that you're doing, and it's real good and very nicely coordinated, by the way.
Okay, lost 100 feet.
But that's just one of the coordination exercises.
That's good. I like that technique of looking at the wind. I'll try that in assessment.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where we get them looking around and looking outside and not staring at the 10 to 2 o'clock position anymore.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go to 180, keep it in the area.
Yeah, but while we do, well, not yet. Why don't we do it with a 45-degree bank turn?
Okay.
And just some things to talk about as we go into that. You don't have an attitude indicator, so we use the TLAR method, which is short for that looks about right. And the way I can tell on the back is a 1.4 G pull.
Okay.
And I'll know you're at 45 degrees of bank if you're holding a level flight. So we'll control the altitude with the bank angle and control the induced drag or the airspeed with the power. So either direction, your choice.
Okay. We'll do right, clear right.
Okay. And you're actually about a little bit over bank there. There's 45 right about there. Notice that we're climbing.
Right.
And so, you can push there, but you can also increase bank angle to get the nose back down to the horizon. And then just blend into 1.4. Very nice. And notice how, you added a little bit of power to control the induced drag there, so that's great. All right, let's roll out here, and then we'll come back to the left. We'll do a 60-degree bank turn, and we'll do that for 360 degrees. As the airspeed bleeds, you can blend in a little power. Very nice, nice and smooth, by the way.
Okay. How's that bank angle look?
Bank angle's right at 60. We're right at 2 Gs here. So very nice. And again, just to prove the point that we can do it without the attitude indicator, we're losing a little bit of altitude there.
Let a little bank out, let the nose come back up.
Yep, there you go. You just stabilize it because of where the lift vector is.
Okay.
And you can roll out here. Very nice. Questions on that?
Nope.
You'd be surprised how much trouble people have with this stuff. But again, it is a coordination exercise just to kind of get them used to it. Next thing, we'll slow down to about 70 knots.
Okay. I'll let you set the power. I don't have engine.
Well, you can pull it back.
Can I go by how
this one is not real critical. We go. And what we have them do is we slow down to watch the angle of attack change, is watch out the wings, left side or right side as we slow. And you can actually see the angle of the wing change. And so there's the angle of attack at about 70 knots. We'll stabilize with power. This is also another great exercise for showing the difference in induced drag, because straight and level here, you'll have a certain power setting to maintain level flight. As we roll into bank, okay, and we'll go either direction, your choice, 15 degrees of bank, in order to maintain the airspeed and that angle of attack, you're actually going to have to add a little power because the induced drag changes, okay? Same thing as we roll out, you'll have to decrease the power a little bit to maintain the airspeed.
Well, it feels good to have that much power available. Just barely through the throttle, you can really feel it.
Yep. So why don't you roll out? And then as required, you can reduce the power. But again, another great exercise has shown that. Come into some left bank. And we'll keep doing this because I wanted you to get a good feel for the airplane and the slow speed regime. Power is required. The other thing we can do instead of the power is we can lower the nose. But the problem with lowering the nose is that means you're not going to be able to maintain altitude. But that'll hold your airspeed. Now, in order to climb while we're in the bank, really all you have to do is add a little power and pull the nose up a little bit.
There's plenty of power available.
Yep.
That's great.
And then you can reverse the direction of the turn. But notice as we rolled out, we started gaining the airspeed.
Popped right up.
Yep. And it really accentuates it. It won't be as pronounced in a general aviation aircraft with less horsepower.
Right.
But these effects are all there. All right. Now, while we're in the turn, let's reverse it and start heading downhill again.
Okay. Keep it in slow flight?
Yep. Keep it in slow flight, so the power has to come back. Very subtle changes, and without increasing the airspeed. See how fast it starts gaining?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get the airspeed back under control, and then you can reverse the direction of the turn. Okay,
I'm showing 70.
Yep, back around to the left. And angle of attack is lower here, so the power adjustments are not as great. All right, because the angle of attack is lower. So any questions on this? Again, we take them through this, and again, it's a great demonstration of induced drag and the power requirements when you're in bank flight. Okay?
Excellent.
Questions on that?
No, sir.
And I have no problem with you taking some of these techniques to go back to the school. I mean, if it helps you guys, that's great. We got an airplane off the nose climbing.
Got him.
Should be no factor. All right.
Go back up.
I'm going to come on the controls.
Your controls?
And you fly with me, lightly on the controls. We'll let this guy go by. And we're down around 5,300 feet. And what I'm going to do here is after this guy goes by, I want to climb back up again. I'm going to do a zoom maneuver. Remember, we talked about that in the briefing.
Okay.
These work in general aviation as long as you don't push to 0G. He's behind us, no factor. Here we go, 120. I'm going to pull the nose up. You can look off the left. And with full power on this airplane, we can go pretty extreme in the nose high. But now I let off the pressure. Look at the airspeed.
Yeah.
Why are we not stalling?
That angle of attack down, push over.
Yeah.
Negative G's.
Now I can stall it in the negative. That buffet you're feeling is slipstream.
Okay.
Catching up with the airplane. But other than that, we gained about 600 feet on that and never got into a stall despite the fact that we were below the 1G stall speed because we weren't pulling 1G.
Right.
All right. Ride with me again. Okay. Here comes the first stall. We'll do this power off. And I've had the camera on you the whole time. I meant to switch it to the back camera. So we're on the back camera. Power coming to idle. And this is going to be pressure, power, rudder level climb, but I want you to see how much I'm going to let off the back pressure. It's not a whole lot. All right? So here we go. There's pressure, power, rudder as required, level the wings, and climb. And you notice that we're maximizing that lift curve right near the 1G stall speed. And I'm looking for a positive rate of climb on the altimeter, which is all you've got in the front. If I had a vertical velocity indicator as well, I'd confirm it as a backup with both of them. Make sense?
Absolutely.
All right, your airplane, your turn.
Okay. Do a power off stall?
Yep.
Okay. Do power all the way to idle?
Yep. And I'll keep you from going full power. You won't need that much. Okay. Otherwise, we'll go way too nose high.
Buffet.
Pressure.
Power. Pressure.
Beautiful.
Rudder is required.
Very nice. Very nice stall. Is that anything different than what you guys are teaching?
The technique is the same. The control movements need to be much more precise in this aircraft.
Yeah.
But when you're teaching technique, it's really the same.
Okay, great.
You obviously don't have quite as much power in a training Cessna.
Understand, and that's why in this, when we're doing this with students, we don't let them go full power, because this airplane will climb 70 degrees nose high.
Wow.
So we don't want to do that because that's just an unrealistic representation. All right, power on stall. I can let you figure that out. Let me set your power for you.
Okay.
There's a good simulation for a general aviation aircraft, and let's bring the nose up, and we'll let her stall there. This time we'll simulate the powers all the way up.
Okay.
So it'll be pressure, power, think about it, but you won't be able to move it. Rudder, level the wings, and then climb. And you know it's coming.
Stall.
Pressure, power.
A little aggressive there.
Yep. Whoops, there's another one. Level the wings. Yep.
And level.
And climb again. Get a positive rate of climb coming out of it. Want to try one more of those?
Sure.
Yeah, you can just come up to a nose-high attitude, and I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay.
And stop right there.
Okay. Lead it off?
Yep.
Buffet, stall.
Pressure,
rudder,
power, rudder.
Okay. Level. Full power, and into the climb.
Yep. Get a positive rate out of it, and should be able to climb now. Good. Questions on that?
No.
Pretty straightforward,
A little bit of a bump on the ailerons is
You're actually starting to feel a little bit of that reverse aileron effect, believe it or not.
That's interesting. Just a little bit of a pressure there.
Yep. All right. I'm going to come on the controls.
Okay. Your controls.
So now you've kind of seen pretty much the standard stuff that they teach, but now what we're going to do is I'm going to clear, and I want you to ride the controls on this one, and now it's time to be a manual yaw damper. So we are going to fly past the stall, critical angle of attack, and we're going to fly in the stall. I'm assuming you've done one of these rudder stall exercises before?
Yeah, we call them a falling lead stall.
All right. But again, a great confidence builder, and I'm going to demonstrate the first one, and then you're going to have it. All right, so you ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go. Back to idle. And we'll hold it right there. Here comes the stall, and about 5 knots above the stall, I'm going to start a rudder dance. And about that fast, not full deflection, but here it goes. As we hit the stall buffet, I bury the stick back. Now we're oscillating a little bit, but now she'll stabilize with the rudder. And if I want to turn to the left, I'll add a little bit more left rudder. But I keep the feet moving. If I want to go to the right, I add a little bit more right rudder. We're falling at 2,500 feet a minute in a full-blown stall, but the airplane is totally controllable. And I level the wings, and now for the recover, we just go pressure, power, rudder, level, climb. How'd you like that?
That's awesome.
Isn't that something?
That buffet is amazing.
But the airplane is totally controllable, and we're all over the rudder in the stall, and guess what? The airplane doesn't spin. Now there's an airplane off to the...
I had him, yeah.
I'm going to splash a little smoke here, so hopefully he'll see us. Any questions on that one?
Negative.
All right, I'm going to let you come on the control. Oh, you've got the airplane
the
again.
Controls.
Let's climb up a little bit, and we'll have you do one of those.
I'm going to turn away, see if we can get that traffic inside over on the left side.
He turned out across the canal.
Okay.
Shouldn't be any factor.
How high you want to go?
Let's climb her to 6. I'll give you enough time to do that. Interesting, though, huh?
Absolutely.
I've done this in my 140. These types of exercises are great, and they're great practice. Give you a good feel of the airplane all the way through the stall buffet. Just make sure if you're going to do it in something like that, you got plenty of altitude.
Of course.
But most of the folks that come in here have never done anything like that before. And just
right turn here a little bit. Check for traffic below us.
Yeah. Just absolutely blows their mind. and gets him some confidence. All right, this should work.
Okay. Powered idle?
Yep. And I'll help you keep that stick aft on this first one.
Okay.
And then while we're in it, while you're doing the rudder dance, I'm going to add a little bit of aileron input, so hopefully we capture that on the film.
Okay.
All right, you keep the nose up. And you can start doing that rudder dance right now.
About like that?
Yep. You'll get a feel for it. You can go a little faster than that. There it is. Stick all the way aft and hold. Keep doing that rudder dance faster. There you go.
That's amazing.
Isn't that something? Okay, a little bit faster to control it. And if it oscillates a little bit like that, we're just dancing in and out of the stall.
Yeah.
So keep those feet moving. Keep them moving. Faster. There you go. Now she stabilizes for you. Now I'm moving the ailerons a little bit for you because I want you to see that the aileron effect, the reverse aileron effect, is definitely there. Okay?
Okay.
So you're steering the airplane, getting a good feel for that?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
All right. So now to recover, pressure, power, rudder, level, and climb. Manual yaw damper, welcome to the stall world.
That's great.
All right, let's climb her back up. You can go full power. But again, a big confidence builder for folks to say, yes, the airplane is perfectly controllable in the stall. It does rock back and forth, and that's the buffet and a little bit of that reverse aileron effect. Hopefully we caught that on film.
Yeah.
And let's start a right-hand turn in the climb. And we'll kind of head back toward the west, the west a little bit. Okay. Next thing we'll do is an accelerated set of stalls. I'll have you fly those as well, and then we'll go on to skidded turn and slipping turn. And again, Jim, as we go through this, after the accelerated turn, I would go into the aerobatics with the folks. We also give them a chance to get proficient at some of the stuff that we've already done. Then we would do the aerobatics and then pretty much head home. So then we're going to start going into the EMT 2, 3,
okay,
and spin 1 and 2. We should have enough gas to get a lot of this stuff done, which is great. Well, what do you think so far?
I love it. This is awesome.
But
just a fun airplane.
Yeah. I'm hoping the students get as much out of it as the rest of the folks that have been through here, too. Now, the accelerated stall, we'll kind of speed this up a little bit so we get to the more advanced stuff. But on the accelerated stall, I'm coming on the controls with you, by the way.
Okay.
What we'll do is we initially go into it like you saw in the video, and we'll have them stall and do pressure, power, rudder, level, climb. But the real answer here is in an accelerated stall, as we go whip the nose around here, I'm going to hit the stall and I'm going to back off the pressure, and the airplane will be flying again. All right, so here we go. I'll do this one to the right. Here we go. Fly with me. And I just pull until we hit stall angle of attack. And then I just back off the pressure and we're flying again. Cool. I don't have to do pressure, power, rudder, level, climb, do I? Again, same thing. Pull, angle of attack is seated. As soon as I back off the pressure, we're out of the buffet and we're still flying. And that's an important thing for them to remember, that it's the angle of attack, not the speed, that determines when we're going to hit the stall. Okay?
Okay.
Your airplane, you can do it left or right.
Yep. Go do it to the right.
Okay. Just pull right into her. It also proves the point that the elevator is the thing that drives us into the stall. And as soon as you back off the pressure, the airplane's flying again. Try one more. There it is.
Yep.
So we don't have to go.
Unload it.
Yeah, we don't have to go pressure, power, rudder, level, climb, because as soon as you back off on the pressure, you come down below the stall angle of attack, and the airplane's flying again.
That's awesome.
Questions?
Just for reference, how many G's are those turns?
That was right at 3 Gs.
Okay.
So we never even over-G'd the general aviation aircraft. That's why I have the airspeed down low.
Okay.
Now we're going to start off. I'm coming back on the controls. As we do this, I'm going to start a climb in the stall. All right, so I'll keep it level till we hit the stall, and then I'm going to do the rudder dance, and we're going to climb the airplane. So you ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go. Start this at a little higher G. As we roll, I'm going to go full power. I'm going to pull right back into the stall. Bear with me. Here we go. And now with the rudder dance, watch the altimeter. That's about 200 feet. Look at the airspeed indicator. Airplane is completely controllable with that yaw damper. How about that?
That's something.
Pressure, power, rudder, level, and climb. Pretty neat, huh?
That's cool. I think I'm going to leave that one to you.
You want to try it? No, I'll have you try it.
You want me to? Okay.
Yeah, no biggie.
All right.
All right, I'll help you with the initial setup on the thing, but,
okay.
All right, right or left, your choice?
Let's shoot to the left again. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so
as we roll in.
Leave the power?
Yep, full power now and pull.
Okay.
As you hit it, come on, pull. There you go. Now, rudder dance and get that nose up. Stick, pull aft. There you go. Good. Rudder dance. Keep rudder dancing. Keep rudder dancing. There you go.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
250-foot climb in the stall, and now recover, pressure. Power's already up. Level the wings.
Okay.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
That is amazing.
Now, the reason you can do that with this airplane very successfully is because we've got enough power to overcome the induced drag.
That pitch angle is amazing.
But you can do that in a general aviation aircraft and maintain level flight in a full accelerated stall, which I showed you in the video back in the academics. That my Cessna 140 will do. So how do you like that one?
That's impressive.
All right. Okay. I'm back on the controls again. Fly with me. And what I want to do here, Jim, is we're going to take a break. We're going to do one more exercise of what we introduced on EMT2. And this is going to be the positive and negative roll damping because it's going to play in as we get into the skidded turn stalls. How you feeling, by the way?
I feel great.
You enjoying this?
Yeah.
All right. We'll be at about 90 knots right here. Actually, let's slow down to 80. And what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to hold the stick steady. And what I want you to do is introduce left rudder and hold for just a second and let go.
Okay.
And let go.
Yeah, it comes right back.
Okay, and notice it's kind of a little bit of a roll.
Yeah.
Try and go full deflection rudder now.
Okay.
And let go.
A little oscillation.
Okay, I had the stick perfectly steady there. Yep. It rolls itself back to normal flight. Now it oscillates because of the differences in the drag and all that other stuff, but now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to be in a stall. So when I enter the stall, I'm going to tell you when. I'm going to lock the stick back. I'm going to have you do the same thing. Brief application of left rudder and let go. And now. Nope, a little bit more. Full rudder and let go.
There it goes.
All by itself. It does not recover to level flight, does it?
Nope.
So pressure, power, rudder, level climb, we're out of the stall. But the interesting thing is that the rudder was effective in both pre-stall and post-stall. In pre-stall, the airplane goes back to normal flight when you let go. In a stall, it continues to roll in the direction of the originally applied rudder. Positive roll damping versus negative roll damping. That negative roll damping, and I know you've been in a spin before, but that negative roll damping is the contributing factor to auto rotation in a spin. Make sense?
Yes, that's a great demonstration.
All right. And so it would likely, logically follow that in order to recover from that negative roll damping, what we're going to have to do is apply opposite rudder. And that's why opposite rudder is applied for spin and also for the stall recovery because you're past that critical angle of attack. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. So that rudder application, that rudder application that you just did and let go, that's what we're going to do for the skidded turn entry and the stall recoveries. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate this first skidded turn. And I got to ask you, have you seen these before?
Yes, probably not like we're going to do.
Okay. So here I am, a general aviation pilot, not very many hours. I'm a little bit nervous about going over 30 degrees of bank, but here we go around the final turn. I get an overshooting wind. I have my power set, 30 degrees of bank, and I see I'm overshooting, so I'm going to add rudder, and then I'm going to pull. Pressure, power, rudder, let go, level the wings with the ailerons, and climb. Power is required. That is a skidded turn stall. From the initiation of the stall to the recovery was 400 feet. How'd you like that one?
That's exactly what I expected.
Okay. And it goes about that fast in my 140, except the recovery takes a little longer on the roll. So if you're ready,
okay,
I'm going to have you do one of those.
My controls? We're good on altitude. Looks good.
Yep. Start a turn either direction. Remember, it's a pop on the rudder and let go. Don't hold it.
Drop power back?
Yeah, I'll set that for you.
Okay, thank you.
And now cheat with rudder and cross control with aileron to hold 30 degrees of bank. A lot of rudder. And now pull.
Okay.
There it goes. Pressure, power, rudder, let go. Let go of the rudder, let go of the rudder.
There we go.
As soon as the pressure breaks the stall, you can use the aileron.
Got it.
Notice we got into the side slip or the skid because you held the rudder in. Okay?
Saw that.
That actually delays the recovery. So let's add power. Let's climb back up again. I'll have you do one more of those. This is where in EMT2 we start working on the proficiency on the recovery. I'm not so worried about how you get into it. We can help you with that. I am concerned about how you get out of it. All right?
So the recovery is initial pop, and then you got the ailerons back.
That's right. Because by then you have released enough back pressure to be back in the normal flight regime, below critical angle of attack, and now the ailerons are your buddy.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's go left bank turn, and we'll turn a little bit away from the canal.
Okay.
And which way you want to go? You want to try one left again?
Yeah, let's do that again.
All right. We're right at 80 knots. I'm going to set the power for you.
Okay, I'll leave it in the left turn.
Yep.
Opposite rudder. I'm sorry, bottom rudder.
Yep, bottom
opposite
rudder
aileron.
Here. A lot of rudder, and pull. Pull. That's a little unrealistic.
Yeah, a little more here.
Yeah. Just pull. There you go. There goes. Pressure, power, rudder. Let go.
All the way over.
Yep. Level the wings and now climb. Easy.
Ooh, easy.
That's just a matter of not being used to the airplane, but that's okay.
Pulled a little hard there.
Yep. But good.
Definitely lost less altitude that time.
But good recovery. All right. You're getting the feel for what exactly we want you doing here. You want to try one to the right?
Sure.
All right.
We okay on altitude?
Yep.
Okay. Right turn.
Turn. I'm going to set your power for you.
Okay. Get the bottom rudder in.
A lot of right rudder. Keep that nose up. Keep the nose up.
Okay.
And keep pulling. There you go.
Okay. Pull.
Pressure, power, rudder.
And bring it back around.
Yep. Let go of the rudder.
Nice and easy this time.
And power is required to get the nose tracking up again. Good.
Those are fun.
Isn't that wild?
Very responsive aircraft.
Yeah, and, oh, by the way, but the procedures work exactly the same in every airplane. But you notice that you got no warning that that stall was coming because it's stalling at the tip. And depending on how much rudder you have in, obviously you can get some warning that it's coming if you don't have as much rudder in, because you'll still get some interruption of the airflow that goes over the elevator. But if you go full rudder, which is typically what a lot of people do, that's what's going to end up happening. If you try to roll out with the aileron, you get that reverse aileron effect. It can roll you further around. So, interesting, huh?
Yes.
All right, I'm on the controls again.
Okay.
I want you to fly with me on the rest of these. We're going to do a slipping turn stall, and then I'll take you through a cross-section of the rest of the program. But that was pretty much EMT1 and at least an introduction to EMT2. And then we work on getting people somewhat proficient at the recoveries. Now, a slipping turn is the way you really do want to go around the pattern. Bottom rudder, if you use it with me, other than coordinated flight in the pattern, again, I'll get that baseball bat I keep under the seat. But here we go, 80 knots, and now I'm going to slip because I want to, or I'm tight. And notice that I come in full rudder here, and the airplane will not stall because I'm not in over critical angle of attack. Yes, my stall speed is increased. The only way I'm going to get into that stall is if I pull. Watch this. Whoops, pressure, power, rudder, level, and climb. And notice I popped the rudder on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Want to try one?
Sure.
All right, I'll have you try one of those. Okay, your airplane, setting the power for you. Left or right, your choice.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do it this way then.
Yeah, go ahead and use full right rudder. Come around the corner, and now just get aggressive with the pull. Overbank it a little bit. Yeah, overbank it a little bit. Come forward left bank. That'll get the nose down. And now just pull. There it goes. Pressure, power, left rudder, let go. Let go of that left rudder.
There we go.
Yeah. Got to pop it and let go. Because as soon as you relax the back pressure, the airplane's flying again.
Got it.
All right? So it is. I want you to do that for me right now. I want you to pop left rudder. Yep, and let go. That's how you want to recover.
Okay.
All right? You want to try one more?
Sure. Let's do it the other way.
All right.
Okay, good on altitude.
Yep, we're good on altitude.
Power's good?
Yep, left rudder.
Bring it in.
And to get the nose tracking down, you can overbank a little bit, just like we did before. And now just pull her around right into the stall. Pull. There it goes. Pressure, power, rudder, level, climb. There you go. Beautiful. Notice that with the pop, you can now start blending in the ailerons. As soon as you relax that back pressure, we're almost back down below the critical angle of attack. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Back on the controls. But that's what we take them through in EMT2 and get them comfortable with those recoveries. It teaches them to not do things, and then if they inadvertently do those things, how to get out of it. All right, spiral dive time. I'm going to demonstrate 2 of them for you with you on the controls. Then we'll do a couple of unusual attitudes, and then we'll climb up and do a spin or 2. And then if you're up for it, we'll do the aerobatics.
Feeling good.
Having fun?
Oh yeah, this is awesome.
And let me do one more zoom maneuver here, maybe a little more aggressive than we did before. I'll sacrifice 100 feet to gain 700 or 800. And away we go. Here comes the pull. And there's the push. Right up to 6,000 feet. Well, maybe 56. Oh, well. Good enough. All right, Jim. Here's how people kill themselves at the graveyard spiral, too. The critical thing here is to reorient the lift vector and to stop pulling. So we go power, push, roll. It's really not a push. It's a check. It's a check to stop pulling. All right? So from 80 knots, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come left into a 45-degree bank turn, and I'm going to hold level flight. There's 1.4 Gs. Now, without increasing the pull, I'm just going to increase bank, and watch how fast this develops. Ready?
Ready.
Increasing bank, not increasing pull. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, recover. Power push, roll. And now pull back to the horizon right at 2.5 Gs. We were over 4,000 feet a minute descent rate, and still under the limiting airspeed of most of the general aviation aircraft. 5 seconds. That's all it takes. That's the problem. And now, I'll show you one more of these. We'll do this one to the right after we climb up. Here's what ends up happening with most people is we're going to try and pull our way through. And what ends up happening here is we're holding level flight, but we increase the bank. This is another type of spiral. This is the one people typically see, and then we end up just pulling here, but we're too high a bank. And so the G-forces are increasing, and we end up ripping off the wings eventually. Power push, check, roll, orient the lift vector, and recover. And that's how we get out. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to zoom up here one more time, and I'll show you one more of these. I wish we had time that we could work on the proficiency end of these things, but again...
Oh, that's okay. We just need a demonstration.
Yeah, it's just giving you a snapshot of what we're going to take them through. And the big thing is that the G-forces have not exceeded anything that a general aviation aircraft can do. All right, on this one, we're going to let it go to an overbank situation. These are the ones that start to get dangerous, real dangerous. So again, 45 degrees of left bank, 80 knots. Without increasing the pull, I'm just going to increase the bank. This is where we get into trouble, right here. Power push, roll. Notice that the roll reorients the lift vector. We're right at 2 Gs right now for the recovery. This also helps build their tolerance and what it feels like at 2 to 2.5 Gs. Any questions on that?
Negative. Traffic 11 o'clock lower.
Got him. Putting out a little smoke for him. Hopefully he'll see us. That's our kill sound, too. Okay, as we climb up here, fly with me on the unusual attitudes. And I'll show you what we do, and I know we probably have a discussion item there. And we need to get that clarified from the FAA, which tends to be muddy anyway.
Yeah.
All right, nose high. We preach to increase the bank angle and keep it comfortable. So here comes the nose high, close to the horizon. We'll do this one to the right. And so we set it up like this, and we'll go power, push, roll, and now just fly the airplane back down to the horizon.
You got the camera on the tail for that one?
Yep, I sure do.
Excellent.
Okay, and that's very comfortable. Technique-wise, you notice I blended it in a little bit of back pressure to keep you at 1 G in the seat.
Yeah, it was very, very comfortable.
Okay, now for an extreme nose high, and this is where I'm going to ask the question, try and imagine trying to push out of something like this. Wake turbulence encounter, and try and imagine pushing from here.
Right.
Power push, roll to 90 degrees, keep the back pressure on. If you're slow, let the nose track below the horizon, and now roll out and return to level flight. How comfortable was that?
Yep. Perfect. Makes sense to me.
Okay. We teach 2 versions of the extreme nose high from an overbank situation. I'll show you both of those real quick. And we give you the option. The real answer is roll to the nearest horizon, but we also have to factor in the comfort level. And there's 2 ways of recovering out of nose high. So here we go. Nose high overbank. We're greater than 90 degrees. We say, okay, power push, roll back to 90 degrees, and then the recovery looks just like the last one. But the other option you can exercise, let me get some airspeed back, is to continue a roll in the direction because it's comfortable and you have the time. So if you're overbanked here, you can go power push, roll.
That's great.
And notice that we're positive G all the way around.
Yep.
And some people prefer that. And we also teach an Immelman, which is a half loop with a roll at the top, to let them know that it's okay. And by the way, while you roll, you can keep positive G on the airplane. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. Nose low, we emphasize that the roll rate must be much higher because the longer you lollygag that, the lower you go and the more altitude you lose. So from the nose low, you've already seen it from the spiral, but we take it to the more extreme underbanked here and go power push, roll. And it looked a lot like the spiral dive, and it is in fact very similar. From an overbank situation, you can still see the horizon, even from here, and you go, okay, power push, roll, level the wings, and then climb back up. We're right at 2.5 Gs on the recovery. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, we'll do the next one to the right, but this one I'm going to take you to totally inverted. And here's the rule of thumb on that. If you don't have a visible horizon, and you know you're above the stall speed, then roll until you find a horizon. Power is required. You know you're going to be nose low. We teach this with the aerobatics with the Cuban 8. We'll do one of those a little bit later, so a little out of sequence, but you'll get to see. So here we go. Power set, overbanked, nose low. This is the most dangerous right here. Power push, roll until you find one, orient the lift vector, and then recover at 2 to 2.5 Gs. How'd you like that?
That's great.
Isn't that nice?
Very smooth.
And that's the way it needs to be because these recoveries work exactly the same in instrument conditions. Okay? If you get out of control or get into an unusual attitude situation, there shouldn't be any difference between how you do it VMC or IMC. Okay? The attitude indicator here is the horizon. You've got visible horizon. In IMC, you use your attitude indicator. All right. If you would, ride the controls with me, and I will give you the simulation of a wake turbulence encounter. I've been in one of these. We had a guy that came through in the corporate world that encountered a wake turbulence from a 757 at 17,000 feet. Rolled the airplane 120 degrees or so and pitched the nose up about 30 degrees.
Wow.
So it can happen anywhere. We always think about it around the airport, but that's not the only place it can happen. So if you're ready, you'd be flying along about like this, and if you hit broadside and 757 wake turbulence that had flown through here about 3 minutes ago, it would probably look something like this. And then I'm going to do a power push roll recovery for the unusual attitude. So you ready?
Ready.
Mostly they start off with a little bit of yaw, and then they recover, power push, roll, and you're back to level flight. And that's what a wake turbulence vortex is going to do to you, particularly in a general aviation aircraft. You want to see one more of those?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, here we go. It's a snap roll entry, but it really does simulate it because I've been in one of these before. Mine was in a 38 at 50 feet at night. Oof. got my attention. So here we go. Flying along, and all of a sudden, wake turbulence. And recover, power push, roll, and recover.
That's great. Barely last 300 feet.
Yep. Okay, some of these will spit you out nose low, some of them will spit you out nose high. All right, but we also like to talk about icing, mountain wave turbulence, things that you're not expecting, or you hit one of those damn dust devils and it really screws with the airplane. Okay, it can happen anywhere, anytime. You need to be ready for it. All right, on the controllability issue, we talk about this stuff because they don't have it in the checklist. And I'm going to simulate a bird strike, and we've got structural damage on the right wing. And so this is what ends up happening. We end up with a right yaw, and in order to keep the airplane straight and level, we're going to have left wing low. The airplane is flyable like this. What we recommend to folks in the controllability check is get to a safe altitude and then slow the airplane down to find out where the minimum controllable airspeed is. In jets, we recommend 5,000 AGL. In general aviation, 2,000 to 3,000 AGL. This looks like a crosswind landing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So here's where I'm going to slow the airplane down until I find a little bit of buffet. And I know that it's going to be higher than the 1G stall speed. As soon as I feel that, I don't want to fly into the stall. Let's see where that happens. There it is. That's good enough for me. About 70 knots. So that means, I'm sorry, about 65 knots. So that means for me that I'm going to carry 10 knots over that for my final approach airspeed, and I will touch down no lower than 65. Okay? Things to consider, runway conditions. Which way is the wind blowing? If it ain't blowing favorably to me, like a left crosswind, and let's say the wind was coming from the right, I wouldn't want to land there, or I'd reverse direction if I can. If that brings on too much of a tailwind, then I'll go land somewhere else if I have the gas to go do that. Okay, makes sense?
Yes.
So any type of rudder or aileron or wing problem, those are the actions I'm going to take. On an elevator problem like a control jam, things that can help me with accelerating or climbing the airplane is if I add power, notice the nose comes up. If I reduce power, notice the nose comes down. I can fly the airplane that way. I can also use elevator trim to help control pitch on the airplane. But I don't do this on a normal basis. And so this is one where I might fly a low approach first before I try to land the airplane. Make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions on that stuff?
No, it's perfectly clear. Good stuff.
And again, we take them through that, and we'll give them all the situations and let them kind of flail through that and see if they can handle it. Okay. So that's really a cross-section of all the things we do, and except for the power-off approach, and the only thing you really haven't seen is the aerobatics. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you back the airplane.
Have the controls.
And we'll climb up, and it's time to play a little bit.
Okay.
And if we have time at the end, we'll do a power-off approach, and I'll talk you through that on the way into Rittenhouse. What do you think so far?
It's awesome.
Any questions or comments?
I'm in heaven.
Getting dry mouth from talking too much here, but that's the way it goes. Now, Tori didn't see all of this stuff. We just went up and did the aerobatics ride, but let's go up to about 6,500 or so.
Yeah.
And we will start off. We'll kind of run through the ones that we run through on the EMT, and then with the remaining gas, we can play a little bit, and I'll show you some pretty wild stuff. If you are up for it.
I'm up for it.
You know what?
Yeah.
Let's do that. We'll do 3 of them or so, and then I'll climb you up. We have not done a spin yet, so
okay.
we need to do that.
Okay.
Or do you want to do the spin first?
Whatever you say, boss.
Let's keep climbing.
Okay.
We'll do the spin first. And then
what altitude you want?
Let's go up to 9,500. So if you want to take a drink of water or something now, we've got plenty of time to do that.
Okay.
You want me to fly a little bit while you do that, or?
I got it.
Okay.
Practically flies itself.
Oh, yeah. I'll have you ride the controls on this one. You want to do an inverted spin too, don't you?
Affirmative.
Okay. Do you want to do an aggravated one or just a normal one?
Bring it on, man.
All right. All right, well, we'll just jump right to the full mile. You want an upright first and then an inverted?
Sure.
Okay. Not a problem. We have the technology to make that happen. If I were you, though, I'd tighten down the lap belt a little bit.
Okay.
Because you will be hanging from the straps when we get to the inverted version.
It's pretty tight.
Okay. Now, the engine may cough here because I'm running down the wing fuel. If it does, we'll switch over to Acro. Just keep flying her. She'll come right back on here in a second. Yeah, this is an amazing airplane. It gives you a lot of feedback on how you're doing, you know, on the recoveries and stuff. And again, Jim, we're not after how fast they do it. We're after the correct procedures. That's the important thing.
Boy, 8,500, we're just shooting up there.
Yeah, it does go pretty good. I wish my 140 would do it this well.
Got outside air temperature back there?
Nope.
Feeling good.
Yeah, it feels wonderful. Good news is we'll carry some of that cool air down with us. But I gotta guess it's down around 50, maybe 60 degrees.
500?
500 to go. I'm gonna come on the controls.
You have the controls?
All right, fly with me.
I'll see if I can keep her passing out.
Oh, you're gonna love this. But I'm gonna aggravate the hell out of it. Actually, two things I want to show you first. You saw that skidded turn stall? Let me take you through an incipient spin entry first. And we'll do a stall recovery out of it, all right? So here we go. I'm checking below, making sure nobody's down there. Incipient spin, I'm gonna let it go around about 1 or 2 times, all right? And I'll use that stall recovery. Here we go. Let it go, let it go. Pressure, power, rudder, level, and climb. How'd you like that?
Nothing to it.
Nothing to it, that's a stall recovery. And we did that kind of out of that skidded turn. I didn't set up the full thing, but we went around about 1.5 times, but it demonstrates the fact that we have not coupled into a spin yet. And all I did was pop that opposite rudder and we were out. But now we're going to go into the fully developed spin, and the first thing I'm going to try and do to get out of it is come forward with the pressure. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go full forward stick, and you will notice that it is not going to help us at all. Then I'm going to go power. We'll get into a flat spin. I'll do this one to the left. I won't play with the rudder because we already talked about what happens in this airplane. Then we'll try playing with the ailerons and see what that does. All right, so you ready?
Sure.
Checking left.
Which camera we got?
I've got the back camera.
Okay.
Unless you want something different.
Ah, sounds good.
All right, so here we go. Nobody below, and here comes the spin. But I'm going to try and point out where this couples. Here we go. Lollygag around. Not yet, and ready. Now, that's where it coupled. So now if I
come up.
Yep, if I come stick forward, watch what happens. Full stick forward, this is not helping, is it? Okay, pressure, how about power? Passing 8,000 feet, watch the nose come up. For the gyroscopic effect, we're in a flat spin now. So, power back to idle, how about in-spin aileron? Does that help me? No, that accelerates it. How about outspin aileron? That flattens it and accelerates it, passing 6,200. So power idle, aileron's neutral, rudder, full opposite, stick past neutral. When the spinning stops, I neutralize the rudder and recover from the dive. Coming out at 4,500 feet and plenty of room.
That's awesome.
How'd you like that?
That's great.
This is what
It's amazing how, the airspeed stays nice and low. You're just sitting there in 1G.
Yep. By the way, I looked at it, the left wing on that one, the string was actually going backwards.
Ah, interesting.
So this is one where the left wing was spinning slightly to the slightly to the rear.
On those, I swear, if you closed your eyes, you wouldn't even know you were in a spin.
Yeah. But you saw that every control input, every power input did nothing but aggravate and accelerate or flatten the spin. So it doesn't help, does it?
Nope.
And that's where I say that the pressure, power, rudder, level, climb, I would always try the stall recovery first because that's easier to do, and I can screw that up and it'll still work for me. All right? A spin recovery, you screw that up, you ain't getting out of it. Those control inputs have got to go in the right order. Otherwise, we don't recover. Interesting, huh?
Yes. Great demonstration.
I think that was probably a 13 or 14 turn spin. And now if you want to, we'll do the same thing upside down.
Let's do it. Can we do that one with the side camera?
You want to put it on the side,
I think that would be an interesting shot.
Okay, I'll put it on the side.
You're the expert. You're the producer of this movie. Director also.
All right, let me see if I can suck some more fuel out of the wings here. It may cough here a little bit. But anyway, I thought you would enjoy all of that.
Yes.
All right, that's the wings telling me that they are out of fuel. Back to acro. We'll wait a second. There we go.
My first engine failure due to loss of fuel.
Actually didn't quit quite all the way, but it's just letting you know that it ain't getting enough. All righty then, there's 7,000 feet. You want to fly us back up?
Okay, I have controls.
Right, you have the airplane. What we also do is we show them a whole bunch of different spin entries. We'll do it from aerobatics. We'll do it from, try not to spike the negative G's or the positive G's, but just give them an idea that these spins can be entered from any attitude, really any airspeed as well. As soon as you exceed critical angle of attack, you're in with that yaw input. You got to wait for it to couple though. But I think you saw that. Most airplanes demonstrate that tendency as well. Some of them are a little more subtle, but the way you'll really know, Jim, is if you start pushing forward on the stick to release the pressure to break the stall, and you can't get there. It just aggravates.
Getting a little slow here.
Yep. And let's come around to the right. Got a little bit of a buffer on the Class B, a little bit further to the north here at 8,000 feet. So I like sticking down toward the southeast end of the area where I know I'm well clear. Yeah, come around to the right a little more.
A little more?
Yeah, let's head for that southeast corner over there. So enjoying this so far?
Oh, this is awesome.
I guess the big question is, do you think the students would get some worthwhile training out of this?
Absolutely. Just the exposure to the concepts. There's so many of these things that they can read out of a textbook, but so they get up here and say, see, that's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the whole goal of this thing, is to make them aware, tell them how to avoid, tell them how to recover. You know, that's really what we're after here. Okay, I'm going to come on the controls. Let me get a little bit more airspeed here. Alrighty then, we're getting close enough. Let me check right. Let me check left. You good and strapped in?
I am good and strapped in.
Alright, here we go. Inverted flight. You're going to love this one. I'll pull the nose up. We'll have a gentle. We'll enter it the same way as the other one, and I'm going to reverse the control so we get, and no kidding, inverted flat spin. Here comes the stall. Left rudder. And now reverse the controls. Here we go. And we're into the inverted spin.
Oh,
again, pull back on the stick. That doesn't help. All right. How about left aileron? That doesn't help. How about right aileron? That doesn't help. How about power? Inverted flat spin. There we are.
Oh, baby.
Passing 7,500 feet. Powered idle. Ailerons neutral. Rudder full opposite. Stick past neutral. When the spinning stops, neutralize and recover from the dive.
Woo!
How'd you like that one?
Oh, my God. That is so foreign. That is amazing. That is amazing that you can get comfortable with that.
But you do.
I mean, that is just so foreign. That was awesome.
Now you can see why we would teach an emergency recovery out of something like that.
Okay, that one was the wingtip camera?
Yes.
Okay, we are not doing that with my camera because my head felt like it was going to explode. I think my cheeks went into my forehead. Oh my gosh, I lost my headset. That was amazing. All right, can we do that again with the back camera?
Absolutely.
That was amazing.
You want to do the whole Monty, the fully accelerated one?
Whatever you want. I'm fine with filling it. That's fine. That's just visually, that's amazing. And that is so disoriented, like we talked about.
Yeah.
All you see is ground.
I will do the next one. I'll show you a Beggs Muller recovery. How about that?
Okay.
Okay.
I would tighten my headset so I don't lose it.
Isn't that something?
That is great.
But
it's
again,
everything I hoped for and more.
But just to give you an idea why that can be so disorienting and why you don't want to make all those control inputs. That's why I recommend to people that don't do this all the time, which is most folks. I'll just, do you want to see the full Monty, the accelerated, the aggravated modes?
Sure.
Okay. We'll climb up and do that. We may sacrifice a little bit on the aerobatics for doing that, but you would be the customer. And so we'll do that one more time. Beggs Muller recovery will be a little sloppier. I'm running the wings again, Jim, just to let you know, trying to suck a little more out of them.
Okay. Even years ago when I flew the Super Decathlon, it really gave me a lot of respect for aerobatic pilots, and this is really a lot more extreme than that. It's just amazing how much of a full body workout it is and how much you really have to understand to be good at this stuff.
Yeah, but it'll drive home the point here why you want to keep your seatbelt attached. That's coughing a little bit there. Tank again. You want to keep your seatbelt tight in case you have a wake turbulence recovery that sends you into something like that. The first thing that happens if your seatbelt ain't tight and you go upside down is you grab the yoke and away you go. All right, so to drive home that point. But the second thing is it also drives home the point that the airplane is perfectly flyable upside down. But in a general aviation aircraft, if you get into that situation, after you recover from the spin, the next step is to start the engine again, because you won't have a motor running when you come out the bottom.
Right.
But in some...
Real planes?
Oh yeah! Woo!
Real fighter pilots.
I can't believe my wife let me be a fighter pilot.
Real excitement.
I think I can go shoot him now. I'm gonna go shoot him. Go ahead and squeeze that trigger. You have control.
The neat part about it is I was able to actually fly the plane.
We gave this to each other for our anniversary, and I won.
The experience of a lifetime.
Let Fighter Combat International help you create the gift of adventure. Call 866-FLY-HARD.